Guts here, bringing you another video. This one is going to be on how to Drow Strat, or how to Death Ball, or how to Anti-Techies, how to 5-man. It's basically an all-in strat in a way. If you look at the drafts here, we'll compare the two drafts. So obviously the Drow Strat will have the Drow on the team. So if you look at the two drafts, it's pretty apparent who's going to win after probably 30 minutes. It's going to be the Dire. So with the draft, this all-in, this isn't a full-blown all-in draft, but it's pretty close. It's not the most all-in you could get, but let's just say it's pretty damn close to being at that point. So this draft has to work within 30 minutes. I like to even do it earlier because I feel if you're not like knocking on the door effectively at 30 minutes, you've already lost the game. So I like to finish around 20 to 25 minutes with any sort of Drow strat that's all in like this. And I'm just going to explain how to do it because I feel a lot of people don't understand fully the concept of a Drow strat and how it works. So I've skipped 15 minutes of this game already, and there's a big portion of that that needs to be like acknowledged so that you get to this point where you could come mid and start knocking on the door. The main thing is you need to gain somewhat of a little bit of a lead. So let's check the gold graph, okay? The gold's in our favor. It's not much. It's about 1,000 gold. EXP is actually still dead even. And the only reason that is because we've got a few more towers than they do. So we have 4 towers dead and they have 1. That being, this is the Techies lane that the Techie spammer was in. This guy's got like 2,000 games of Techies. He's level 19. So, you know, it's definitely just not going to work if you just dick around and play Dota like you're just a farming simulator. I've beaten that into the bush. So we currently have a small advantage, and there's a few things that make this work, which I'll explain in a second, but it's not like they're out of the table, you know? The KDR on the board is still pretty damn close. I'll actually pull that up here so you could just see how it's going. And Ursa's got an Agus, so, you know, they're in an okay position. In this current scenario, he's actually flanking. Centaur eventually will be flanking, and then you have these people defending, and Techies is soon going to be getting onto that. Techies was too busy mining up bottom that now that he realizes this is our first approach at going all in on their racks, earlier than he expects, he's got to start mining up mid. So we're really under pressure here. They've got the late game, they've got the Techies. It's going to be very difficult to push. But here's what makes this strat good. First off, we have a hero that's excellent at chip damage. Safe chip damage. That's Pugna. There's not too many heroes like this. Most of them are to the extent of Drow where you have to somewhat commit. But Drow also is an excellent pushing hero, as you could see. I'm playing the Dazzle here. One thing that a lot of people don't understand that you need with push draft is you need sustain, but you need a ton of mana. So if we look at the items here, Pugna's got Arcane Boots, I've got Arcane Boots, and Disruptor has Arcane Boots. So we have lots of mana in the reserves. In terms of regen, Dazzle usually is just enough. 1 urn on one of your heroes is plenty of regen to do it. So I grab the urn. I actually grab urn pretty much on any position 5, position 6 support hero I get. Usually in pro scene you see the position 4 grabbing the urn, but I don't mind grabbing it. I find in my bracket 3k 4k there's not too many urn grabbers that are position 5, and in this scenario it really helped us with making this death ball effective. So we're gonna slowly go over this, just explain what's happening. So as you can see, Pugna's chipping. It's good to have a sentry. As you can see, he's got 2 sentries in case of invis heroes come. We're just going to slow this down because I want to see what's going on exactly. So Pugna's getting focused, Drow's getting focused. They have their priorities set. Get rid of the push heroes and then you don't have to worry about nobody else. I'm healing up heroes. Pugna's actually staying alive quite effectively. Disruptor gets a nice 2-man ult. Techies gets a beautiful silence out on me, which stops people from getting healed. I was going to try and heal Pugna over here. Agus expended. Windrunner is still not dead. The bomb goes off. Techies is down. Up here, Pugna is still living against 2 heroes, but we're kind of separating from him. I'm focused on these heroes bot because Pugna just seems fine. But he's soon going to get dove. I got to come back in. I'm going to speed it up just a little bit. So now my focus is Pugna now that they've got a clear shot on Ursa. Ursa doesn't have blanket stuff. This is why the strat's super effective. They don't have the items with this greedy of a lineup. They have too much late game, and it penalizes them. Drow's down, so that's good for them. If they had maybe less late game, they could probably do a bit better against our 5-man Deathball. Windrunner's next on the buffet list. Disruptor's pushing for some reason, but Ursa's pretty screwed now. Ow. He's out of here. We'll return it to normal speed. So we lost our Drow. They're buying back, but we still have Pugna. Pugna is probably one of the best heroes for this. I'm going to pause for a sec. Other heroes, like Dazzle, assuming you don't have an urn, you could go Necro, Witch Doctor, same kind of thing. Dazzle's just probably the best, in my opinion, at it. Maybe Chen. Sarissa gets glimpsed back, leaves Centaur by himself. He falls down. Drow's almost back up. And at this point, they're just throwing bodies to get the job done. Look at this Dazzle heal for me, though. And I'm getting Urn every single time they die. So they're super, like, digging themselves further graves. Disruptor and Pugna keeping their distance very well. Drow's back into the fight. Techies is pretty much a non-factor at this. I got 3 Urn charges. This is just gonna... I just start healing up. My mana's pretty much low. But that's when the rest of my team's Arcane Boots come into effect. So Pugna's gonna pop his in a second. Pop. Disruptor's gonna pop his. Pop. Look at that. Mine's coming off. And what can they do? They're late game in a Techies. They need time. Time favors them. We're pushing now right up the middle. We're not going for other stuff. Because 2 racks means nothing if they get online with items. And especially when we have killing sprees like this. Like, they get mega screwed for this stuff. Pugna, I don't have my heal, so I can't heal him up. But he has a buyback. And he just comes back. You know what's stopping him from buying back? That's a lot of things that your teammates won't do if you ever try and attempt this kind of a strategy. Are you willing to buy back? A lot of people think of buyback as putting you behind. But when you're running an all-in draft like this, yeah, like you're not winning past 20-25 minutes anyway, so you might as well buy back. You know that you do damage. You know that you're a pain in the ass, and that they had to expend all these resources to get you. But look at the Dazzle factor. Everybody is full HP, and the only person who went back to base was Drow, but she got injured and got healed. And Pugna bought back. Everybody else just got healed by the Dazzle. This Pugna ward also is absolutely destroying them. There's their throne. Knocking on their throne. This is a ranked solo queue match, by the way. Everybody is solo queue. I had to convince my whole team that this was the only solution. I basically told them. I picked Dazzle. They weren't too happy with the Dazzle pick. And, well, they weren't mad either, but they knew that, like, we weren't going to win this. And I told them that's why I picked Dazzle, because I want to end this early. I see a weakness in their draft. It's late game. It's not like they have ultimate late game like Void Sniper or Void Tinker or something like that, but they have better late game than what we had. And I felt I could draft a late game hero, but it has to be a support because we already have 3 cores. And I just don't see a support that's going to give us the late game against their draft. That would be beneficial. Maybe an Enigma, maybe a... maybe like a Warlock, but it's not good enough. Enigma, theoretically, people think is a good, like, end-it-all hero because he's got the 5-man black hole, he's got the Eidolons for pushing. Enigma's actually not good because the key to having Deathball like this, if you watch TI4 Chinese teams, because that was the whole meta back then, the key is actually short cooldown spells. Look at all of our spells. Short, 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 short. She doesn't even have any, really. You know, it's all about short. You just spam and you kite. Like, look at our entire team. We're a full ranged team against 4 melees. That also benefits us. All these things factor. There was just so much going on the table that I'm like, you know what? If I just pick a Dazzle and I can convince these guys to go mid, they can't stop us. And they couldn't. Nobody planned this prior. Like, I don't know any of these guys. We just hopped into a game and boom, bam, and done. So, Mind you, this is a 3K game. They're like low legends. I'm the only high one here. So yeah, hope that helps. If you ever feel like doing this, don't do it in a random solo queue pub like I did. Get a group of friends, try it out. You know, BSJ's done some. You could just look up a bunch, try it out with different heroes, but it's pretty lethal. You know, you don't have to 5-man from level 1. We're not talking like that. You could still have a laning phase. We did really bad in laning phase. My lane fed top, bottom fed. Mid was the only decent lane, and that's because they sent heroes to the other lanes to deal with them. So Pugna had a pretty free time, which allowed him to snowball and be a key factor in this, all-in push strat.